evening, and welcome to this week's edition of the Purpose, Value, and Meaning web classes. Tonight's topic is understanding how your strengths can lead to your purpose. I hope you enjoyed that meditation music just as much as I do, because it gets me in a right frame of mind to be open to receiving information as well as giving you guys the information and being able to correspond with you in a helpful way. If you don't already know who I am, I'm Keisha Golder, and I help individuals like yourself and myself define their unique purpose so that they can live a life that they created on their own terms. I also created the Your Life Purpose Makeover Journey, which is a 3-stage, 9-step program where we work through each step of each stage if you need to, because everyone is not going to need to. But we work through each step and each stage to make sure that you're confident, to make sure that you are living your life authentically the way that you want to live it. And of course, we're going to help you find your purpose. I want to take a second to remind everyone that there will be a question and answer section towards the end of the presentation. So if you can hold all questions until then, I would greatly appreciate it. As you know, we do a quick recap of the last week before we jump into the current week. So last week, we talked about authentic living and how living authentically allows us to honor who we are in the things that we do so that we can find our purpose and live the best version of our lives. Authentic living also helps us fit things together so that we are not out of alignment with ourselves. Most of the time when we feel that we are not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing, or our life is not going the way that it should be, it's because we are out of alignment. So what are we going to learn this week? This week, we are talking about strengths. And we're going to learn what our strengths are, where they come from. We're going to be able to understand why knowing our strengths is important. And of course, ways that we can use our strengths to find our purpose. It is very important for us to be able to identify our strengths so that we can not only use them, but allow them to guide us in this journey towards finding our purpose. So let's jump right on in. What are strengths and where do they come from? Strengths are, simply put, something you're good at. But that's not all that strengths are. Strengths are anything that you're good at or that you have the potential to be good at. So it could be a skill that you may not be that great at right now, but with continual practice and continual work, you become good at it and it becomes your strength. It can also be anything that energizes you whenever you do it. You have people that get energized when they do presentations. You get people that are energized when they're helping others. That is a strength of theirs because it's something that they're good at, but they also get energy from it. It also fuels them to continue to do what they do. And strengths are also something that benefits something bigger than yourself. So anything that you are doing to help someone else, that is a strength. If someone asks me what my strengths were, I would say helping people. That is my ultimate number one strength. It's always been a strength of mine, even as a child. But when I think of things from a logical standpoint, there are so many other strengths that I have. Now, if you ask someone else who knows me, they may tell you that my strength is organization, or my strength is being, developing things, or pointing people in the right direction. Like, all of these are strengths. Your strengths are not just the things that you can see in yourself. Your strengths are also the things that other people see in you that we sometimes turn a blind eye to. One, because we don't necessarily want to believe that that is something that we're good at, or we don't understand how we are good at those things. So that's what strengths are. Now, where do our strengths come from? Most people think that your strengths come from all of the things that you learn or endure when you are doing good in life. Your strengths come from your struggles. Your strengths come from your values. Your strengths come from your morals. It's during the times where we struggle the most that our strengths show up. Our values and morals are things that we need to have aligned with our strengths so that we have the true indication of what's important to us, so that we know honestly and truly what we are good at. Think of a time when your back was against the wall and you had no way out. Yes, you may have cried and wallowed for a while and been in your feelings, but when you when you stopped wallowing, your strengths took over and you were able to conquer everything in your path so that your back was no longer against the wall. These are the times where you see people for who they really are when they are struggling. You'll be able to tell the people who are truly about what they say they are about, and those who are just pretending, is when they are up against a struggle. How do we identify our strengths? So there are more than 4, but I chose these 4 because these 4 are the ones that I resonate with the most. So the first one is developing self-awareness. When you are going to develop or identify your strengths, you need to be self-aware. Now, there are 2 types of self-awareness. There's internal self-awareness and there's external self-awareness. Internal self-awareness is where you see yourself and you become aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your passions, and how you react to things. The way that you react to things is very important when it comes to your strengths. So, internal self-awareness is good for not only identifying your strengths, but it allows you to create better relationships. It lowers your anxiety as well as your depression, and of course, so many other things. External self-awareness refers to how other people view you, and there, as well as your strengths, your behaviors, and your reactions. So with external self-awareness, it's important not to get caught up so much in the how people feel about you, but pay attention to how they feel about you and interact with you and take their perspectives into consideration. But don't allow other people's perspectives to change who you are. The second way that we can identify our strengths is by taking an assessment. Now, I don't know about you, but I know when I was in middle school and high school, we took those skill strength type of assessments. Even in college, you took those type of assessments. So assessments such as those or the DISC profile can be used to identify your strengths. It can help you gain clarity in who you are and where you're going when you're uncertain. And in addition to identifying your strengths, these assessments can tell you what your motivations are. They can tell you what your work habits are, what behavior patterns you have that can help you as well as hold you back. A third way to identify your strengths is talk to the people closest to you. Like I said earlier about the external self-awareness, people around us are able to see things that we are not, because we believe that we are sometimes, most of us believe that we're just confined to this one box, and anything outside of that box does not apply to us. We can't do things outside of this box. People who are outside of that box and looking in can see that there's a whole nother world outside of our box that we can flourish in if only we knew that we had these strengths and abilities. So let me use myself for an example. When I first started on my journey to finding my purpose, well, not finding my purpose, but actualizing my purpose and actually living authentically the way that I wanted to live, I had to start doing videos and creating content and things like doing web classes. Now, I was not a very technical person. I did not like to see myself on video. I also did not like to listen to my voice. But my coach said, I need you to do this. Just make a video. Nobody has to see it but me and you. Just make the video. I did that. I recorded the video, didn't even watch the video or listen to the video, just sent it to him. And now I record videos. I edit my videos. I do web classes. I'm not going to say I love listening to myself, but I'm able to watch an entire video of mine and not only watch it to see how well I did, I'm able to pick up on things that I could do better. Had my coach or the person that I was working with that was close to me not saw this in me, I wouldn't be here right now. So sometimes the people outside of your box can see things and they notice that you have these strengths and they just need you. They need to help convince you that you're able to do these things. And the fourth way that you can identify your strength is to work with a coach or mentor. A coach or a mentor like myself, they are going to be your cheerleader. They're going to help you stay on track. They're going to hold you accountable. And they're going to give you the push when you're not feeling so confident. Here's the thing. When you're looking for a coach or mentor, you want to make sure that you are looking for someone who is leading by example, not telling you to do something that they haven't done, don't know how to do, and could care less about doing. So for me, I'm the type of coach that everything that I teach, everything that I help people with, I've actually done those steps. I've been through the process. I, along with my coach, developed these things because of the process that I went through with my coach. So I'm leading by example. And when you lead by example, it's easier for people to understand the process. It's easier for people to see that the process actually works. Now, we're going to jump into the next topic of why knowing your strengths is important. You can know them, but what matter does it make if you know your strengths? Well, this is why knowing your strengths is important. It saves you time. Knowing what you're good at saves you time from relearning skills or relearning how to do a job. I don't know if you've ever done this. I personally have not, but I know people who have, where they have applied for a job that they knew they did not have the qualifications for, but they ended up getting the job. And when it was time to actually go work this job, they had no idea what they were doing. So they had to learn these skills. They had to learn these strengths that they needed in this job. And sometimes it worked out for them, and other times they were fired because they didn't have these skills. They didn't have the qualifications. They weren't able to get the strength that they needed in these skill sets that would allow them to flourish in the position. And so when we know our strengths, we know what we're good at. when we know our weaknesses, we know what we have to work on. So it is very important to know these things because it saves us time, it saves us money, it saves us from having to start back at zero every time we set out to do something. Knowing your strengths is important because it allows you to grow. Think about it. When you know what you're good at, you're able to say, well, I'm a little weak in this area. Let me get stronger in this area so that another branch is open for me so that I can expand a little more, so that my worldview, my skill set is more diverse, which allows me to interact with more people or enter different markets that I'm not able to enter to right now. So it allows you to grow and develop and see everything that you have the possibility of touching in your life. Knowing your strengths is a boost of self-confidence. Now, when you are feeling good about something, your strengths, how you do something, the quality of work that you put into your job or your career, you are confident. No one can tell you anything for a moment because you know that you did what you needed to do in the manner that you needed to do, and that no one could come back and say, hey, tap you on your shoulder and say, hey, you messed that up. I'm going to need for you to redo that. No, because you've gone above and beyond when you did it, because you knew what you were doing down to every detail. You didn't miss anything. Now, your confidence is through the roof. And that not only helps you in your work, it helps you in your life. You are a happier person when you know your strengths. It increases your confidence and in turn increases your happiness. You no longer worry about the unimportant things and can find happiness in your life and your decisions. See, people think that things like our strengths and our skill sets are not related to our emotional well-being. But the truth is they are, especially when we are so confident in them that we feel good internally. It's not about feeling good, somebody else making you feel good. It's about you feeling good and being confident internally. And when you feel it internally, it shows externally. The last one, you are an inspiration for other people as well as a guide. There are so many times since I've done my self-work, and so let me just say this, self-work is not something that ever ends. It's a continual process. And yes, I am still continuing to do self-work, but the work that I have done so far, I get people to come to me, and just me being myself, being authentically me, knowing that I've done the work, knowing that I'm aware of what my strengths are, knowing that I'm aware of the things that I need to work on, or the things that I can do a little bit better, knowing that there are other things that are in my horizon, but I got to get this solid first before I can move on to these other things. People tell me that I inspire them. And it's not that I personally set out to say, oh, I'm going to inspire someone today. No, I set out to say, I am going to be the best version of myself each and every day that I wake up. And when I set out to be the best version of myself with knowing all my strengths and my flaws, the things that I need to work on, the things that make me happy, the things that I can do to make someone else happy, people are inspired. So they want to know, how do you do it? They want to know not necessarily every step that I've done, but can you show me what it is that I can possibly do to become a better version of myself? What better way to praise yourself than, or to feel good about yourself than knowing that just you being yourself that other people are watching you and are inspired by your actions. Lastly, why are strengths important? So strengths are important because we all have talents. We all have skills. But your talents can only take you so far. So when your talents can only take you so far, you need to figure out what else is there for me. You need to figure out what else is there for me. If you notice, like the musicians, especially the talented ones, like the ones that can actually sing or actually rap, they start off with that. They build a following with this one thing, with the talent. And yes, they have strength in that talent, but they often branch off to other things because that talent, especially in the day and age that we're in, you're only hot for so long, you're only popular for so long. It's only going to take them so far. So if they don't develop strengths, if they don't learn other sides of the business or other things that they can do, then they're going to become irrelevant in today's society. So that's why they use the talent to get themselves in the door. But once they get in the door, they are working. They have acting coaches. They become business people. They have all these brand endorsements, things like that, because their talent is only going to take them so far. So knowing their strengths outside of that talent allows them to branch off into these other areas. That's the same thing for us, regular people. That one thing that you do so well that you're natural at, it's only going to take you so far. So you have to figure out, what other strengths do I have? What other ways can I work to make sure that I'm constantly relevant in my circle, in my world? That's why knowing what your strengths are is important. Now, ways that you can use your strengths to find your purpose. Purpose and strength are found when you combine strength and your values. Strengths are great on their own, but when you combine them with your values and your belief systems, your life takes a turn for the better. You're able to see things from different perspectives, which help you make better decisions. Take me, for example. My strengths, I knew what some of my strengths were. Some things I was not aware of, but I was unclear of exactly what my values and my beliefs were because I was so focused on doing everything that everyone else wanted me to do. So I needed to figure out what I valued, what I believed. So once I figured out what I valued and what I believed, and I knew what some of my strengths were, and I combined all of that, I found my purpose. Helping people, which was always my purpose, but the way I was going about it changed. Because I went from wanting to be wanting to go to nursing school and being a nurse and do this and do that. But I realized, once I realized what my values were and my belief system was, that I needed to help people on a more holistic level. So through coaching and interacting and being an accountability partner and teaching meditation and teaching how to be to calm your anxiety and energy healing and things like that. So there was a different avenue that I didn't know until I was able to figure out what my values and my belief systems were. So that's the important part. You have to know what your values and your belief systems are, not the ones that you grew up with, because they may be outdated to you, but you hadn't taken the time to really understand that these were just passed down to me. I don't have to hold on to them. Once I started working with my coach, I uncovered so many things that I never thought were strengths of mine. And being able to define those values and beliefs, and like I said, when I put it all together, it allowed me to be able to work within my passion. And so, yes, I had to work on me. I had to figure out things for myself to help. In order to help people, I had to figure out things for myself. Now, my entire quality of life has changed because I no longer worry about things. And I know that I'm capable of doing anything I put my mind to. Whereas when I was just doing things that people wanted me to do, I was reluctant. I was hesitant. I don't know if I want to do that, but they're expecting me to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. That's no longer a factor for me. I don't do anything that I don't want to. I'm not doing anything for anyone else to satisfy their needs. If you're coming to me to get help, that's something different. But if you're just saying, Keisha, you need to do this because I feel that this is the best option for you, that's not going to happen. And that's what I want for all of you guys. And I know we're probably brainwashed into thinking that other people know what's best for us. But how does someone else know what's best for you when they don't know what your thoughts are? They don't know what your feelings are, your true thoughts, your true feelings. They don't know deep down what you're passionate about. So how can they tell you what's best for you? So I'm going to leave you with something to remember. With the right mindset, you can turn your weaknesses into your strengths. Nothing has to be a weakness as long as your mindset is open to learning and receiving information so that you can change for the better. Now is the question and answer portion of the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to either type it in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, so I love to keep in touch with everyone that I come in contact with. There are several ways to keep up with me. You can keep up with me at Coach Keisha Golder on Facebook. YouTube, you can find me at Keisha Golder. LinkedIn, Keisha Golder. And of course, my website, KeishaGolder.com. On my website, you might want to subscribe because you will get notifications of when I'm doing my web class, when new blog posts are posted, when new YouTube videos come out. And of course, if I'm running any specials or if I have any workshops or anything coming up, you'll be the first to know all of that. You can also book a call with me to see if we are a good fit working together. Or if you want to go read a blog post, all of that is available on my website. Next week, we're talking about learning to visualize your dreams into reality. So here's the Life Purpose Makeover Journey. It's like I said, it's a 3-stage, 9-step program. This program is designed to help everyone define their purpose, live their life on their terms, and feel confident while doing it, overcome limiting beliefs, establishing their core values, knowing who they are deep within themselves, being able to identify their skills and talents, passionate interests, knowing how their life experiences have affected them and how they can use those life experiences to move forward towards their purpose. If there is anything on this roadmap that you want to talk to me about, please go to my website so that we can have a conversation deeper, where one-on-one, because I'm here for you. If there's something not on here that you want to discuss with me that you may think that I know the answers to, please, again, go to my website. That's what it's there for us to stay in contact. If you have questions, if there's something that you want me to talk about, all of those options are available to you if you go to my website. I thank you all for joining me tonight, and I look forward to seeing you next week.